So I'm sure if you're a Christian, if you're single, if you're not with anyone, you maybe have these desires to, have a Proverbs 31 woman. You've maybe read the Bible, you've read that specific passage, and you're thinking about it, you're like, oh, dude, this would be great, right? This would be amazing to have. So, in this video, I'm going to talk about what is a Proverbs 31 woman, how you can find them, because they exist, even if this world is filled with a lot of crap and degeneracy culture. They exist. There are the people that are very, centered and God focused that exist in this world, and there are women out there. There's so many, right? So if that's what you're looking for, if that's what you want in your life, I'm going to kind of talk about it. I'm going to preface this video by saying that, I'm single. I'm still working on myself. I'm not at the point where I, even deserve a godly woman, a Proverbs 31 woman. So, I'm just given the guidance based on, the works of the Bible and based on the teaching that God sends, not based on my own experiences. My own experiences, I have no experiences really to draw on. So, take it with whatever light you want to take it as, but I'm going to do my best to make it as, Bible focused in terms of what is actually said in the scripture rather than what's actually in my life. So, I also like to tell stories. So I'm going to tell stories about, certain things, certain aspects of how this whole thing works. So a Proverbs 31 woman, if you don't know, it's a woman, essentially it's a woman who fears the Lord, right? Who is a godly woman. She fears God. She provides. She loves. She has incredible strength. And basically every good quality you can imagine in a woman is what a Proverbs 31 woman is. Like, she is a godly woman. That is basically the definition of it. It exists because of the verse in Proverbs, of the chapter, Proverbs 31, which talks exactly about it, right? In the book of the Proverbs, go take a read, right? And as a Christian, a lot of people kind of, this is what you want, right? Like, you want to, at the end of the day, you want to be happy, right? And if you're a Christian, you're deep rooted in your faith. Naturally, you want to be with someone who's also deeply rooted in their faith. So that's very important to think about and kind of imagine. But it's about who you are. I think the first step to ever finding a woman like that is to be a godly man. I think it's natural to kind of, assume that. It's natural to kind of just put the pieces together and say that. But what does it mean to actually be a godly man, right? How can you attract the godly woman? First of all, you're never going to attract a godly woman if you're not a godly man. And if you do, you will lose her because she's not going to want to be with you because you guys don't align, So there's this level of, and in the Bible it talks about this. It talks about how there's this level of, you can be a Christian, you can have faith, but you have to act like a Christian, right? You have to act like, you have to be a good person, right? You have to be strong. You have to be loving, even when you have to ignore your emotions, even when emotions are high. You have to be in self-control, have that self-control. But a lot of people, and I'm guilty of it, right? That's why I'm making this video. We just kind of fall victim to our own emotions and we can't control them. So really we're a Christian, but we don't actually act like it. So in the eyes of someone who actually is a godly woman looking for a godly man, you're not really good enough. You're not really that guy. So even if you manage to pull, you're going to lose her at some point. Something will happen and you're going to lose her. So to be a godly man and to be consistently a godly man is very simple. It's just about emotional control. It's about when you feel those high emotions, don't let it actually affect you and don't let it destroy you. Because here's the thing. The devil will not stop. He will not cease to make you feel certain ways in certain situations. It's a matter of what you do. If you're a weak person, and again, I speak from that type of a perspective. If you're a weak person, you will feel the emotions of lust, the emotion of anger, the emotion of pride. It'll make you say something, lash out, bite at the face of temptation. Just as examples. Or the feeling of laziness even. You feel those feelings and you're a weak man, you will let those emotions dictate your life. What does that mean? It means you will be arrogant in the way you speak. It means that, You will lash out at other people in anger. It means that you will be lustful, that you will be looking at other women for their own, sexual organs, right? It means that you'll be lazy, that you'll be sitting on the couch, that you'll not actually be doing what you're supposed to do to get out there and make something happen. Those are just a few examples. If you're not in control of your emotions, you will be that type of person that bites at those temptations and just lets the emotions take you over. But if you are in control, the emotions will still be there. But when you're angry, instead of lashing out, you take a second and wait. And maybe if you have to leave the room, but don't say anything you might regret when you're in an argument, when you're in a difficult conversation, difficult situation. Because people will do things that piss you off, and the devil will make you feel angry, but it's about not reacting to it. And the same thing with pride. Instead of being prideful and saying things that make you arrogant or doing things that are arrogant, even if you feel that way, be humble. Always remember that there are people that are better than you, that you're not the greatest, and that putting yourself above, putting yourself on a pedestal is going against what God is teaching. If you've read the Proverbs, it talks so much about pride being, pride literally being man's greatest downfall. And of course, lust as well. It talks about lust, and lust is a very, very big one. And I'm going to do a little small section about that after I finish this point, which is to say that you will still feel feelings of lust, but it's about controlling yourself, controlling where your eyes move. Instead of looking at other women, instead of looking online, you know what I'm talking about. You focus on, who you're actually with right now and the people that you're with in your life right now. And laziness, well, you'll feel lazy. Sometimes you won't want to get out of bed, but it's about pushing yourself to do it and pushing yourself to go to the gym, do that workout, or do whatever thing you have to do for that day. That's the type of person that is a godly man, is a person who is in control of their emotions. And even when they feel those negative emotions, which will never go away, even when they feel them, you keep them in check. You don't let them overpower you. And a weak man, a man who truly isn't godly, you can believe in Jesus but not be a godly man, because you're just not in control. You're not actually acting in the way that Jesus would want you to act on a consistent enough basis. So of course you're never going to attract that godly woman. And when it comes to lust is probably the biggest one. It's probably the biggest way that you could lose someone that actually is, worth it for you. Whether it's a godly woman or you don't even want a godly woman, you just want a good, good quality woman in your life, a good, beautiful woman, you will lose that person. If you're the type of person that lusts after other women. I'm going to do a little section about jerking off, because that's a big one. I have people in my life, we had conversations like yesterday, last couple of days, where we're somehow like they're over here justifying it. Me personally, I don't justify it. Whenever I fall into it, it's a terrible sin, and I recognize it as a terrible sin, and I try each and every day to do better. But for them, they don't see it as a sin, as a bad thing. So they're fine with doing it like every day, multiple times a day, and watching porn all the time. And some of them are even trying to justify it as being a good thing because your penis needs to release the semen. Me and River, when we did our big podcast, had a conversation exactly about this. And what I told to him is what I'm kind of going to repeat to you right now. Is basically, it starts with just the feeling of pleasure. It's the fact that you're pursuing that pleasure, that it can exponentially grow into something where you end up, if you're in a relationship, you're only increasing the chances that you're going to be looking at other girls with lust, that you're going to cheat, be a true adulterer to your relationship, and destroy your relationship because you're cheating, because you're lusting after other women, because you continue to watch porn, even into a relationship, which in my opinion is cheating all the same, because you're watching other women be naked, right? It only starts with that one moment. But if you do it like often, consistent, you're only increasing the chances that your relationship will suck, because sexually you don't get actually turned on because you've just destroyed your brain by watching so much porn. And also you're increasing the chances that you will cheat on her because your emotions will take you over. It's because of being a lustful person that is the case. So if you're a lustful person, and here's the logic, right? If you're single and you cannot control your lusts, You always jerk off, you always watch porn. When you get into a relationship, it's not just going to go away. You're not just going to magically be this changed person. You're still the same person. And if that's the type of person you are, the person that will bite at lust, in your relationship, you will bite even further and it will be even worse. It will be more detrimental. And you will lose that godly woman if you somehow manage to find her. So keeping lust in check is the biggest thing. Biggest thing. Because it's not necessarily about the pleasure or whatever. Like, it's about who you are as a person. It's about if you're able to control your desires right now, when you're single, when you really have nothing else on the line, it'll be so much easier to control those desires when you actually are in a relationship with a woman, any woman. And they'll appreciate you for it. Each and every woman, they will appreciate you for it if, you have not done anything wrong. And of course, well, if that woman's not a godly woman and they cheat on you and they do something to you, that's all good, man. She wasn't the one anyway. Because what a godly woman will do, she's loyal. A godly woman won't cheat. If it doesn't work out, it'll be an honest, true breakup with complete honesty and grace. It won't be something where they cheat on you or they rebel against you or it's some crazy thing. That's what, true godly women, that's how they act, right? And as much as you want to think that they don't exist, they do exist because, this world's big, man. There's a lot of women, a lot of men, varying levels of godliness, right? Varying levels of belief systems. We all know this. So there are a lot of them. Not many, not as many as there probably were, but there are plenty of them. So if that's what you're searching, right? If you're a Christian, you're kind of like me, that's what you're searching. That is what you're searching for. The most important thing is you have to keep your lust in check. But it's also about being a godly man, controlling your emotions. And next point, it's about being a provider. It's about actually being someone who can provide for them. Because what a godly woman also means is that, and this is why I don't like the saying like trad wife. I don't really like that because it's not really what it's kind of just like a modern way to say just a woman who like works from home, right? Is a stay-at-home mom. If it's a godly woman, what it says in the Bible, right, is, the woman submits to the man. And that's not a inferior belief, but it's because of modern feminism that has been seen as it. But the relationship between man and woman it's simple. Man has been created to be the provider, and the woman has been created to support the man in what they do and do their own things and be strong in their own special and also beautiful way. So that's what it says in the Bible, that is how the relationship should be. I think if the woman wants to work, it's not a problem. But I think a godly woman, a woman who actually fears the Lord, is probably more likely to want to be a stay-at-home mom. I know, crazy that these women do exist that want to be stay-at-home moms, especially with modern feminism. But they exist and it's real. So you have to be the type of man that is strong enough, is good enough, that can make enough money to provide, even if she's not going to be working. Have enough money to provide for children and provide for her and to actually build that family. So you have to be the type of man not only in control of his emotions, but the man that actually is able to provide. So if you're none of those things, right? If you're none of those things, there's really no reason for a godly woman to stay with you. Because there are men out there that are actually trying to do better. There are men out there that are actually strong and bold in their faith and are worthy and deserving of a godly woman. That might not be you right now. So you have to take a look in the mirror and truly realize like what you're doing wrong. Do you lust too much? Are you not in control of your emotions? You don't make enough money? I'm sure most of us, if you're around the same age as me, you probably don't make that much money right now. But are you the type of person that will continue to be lazy and not make the money you need to make to provide? Or will you actually, make some important changes in your life in order to do it? So, to kind of conclude and bring this home, don't trick yourself into thinking that you want this godly woman. Don't even want it if you know that you're the type of person that is not going to be able to keep her or not even be able to, be worthy to even get into a relationship with her, because she looks at you and she doesn't want to be with you, right? So it's about how you control yourself, how you are as a person first and foremost, and really it applies for everything in life. The good things that you want, ask God, and you will receive. That is, the great thing that is talked many times in the Bible. Ask and you shall receive. But God is very, he's very gracious. He's very loving. If he knows that you're not actually the type of person that deserves a woman that you want, he's not going to give it to you. He's not just going to lay it at your feet, because in the end, it will destroy both of you, because something bad will happen because you're not in control of yourself. Something bad will happen and it destroys the relationships, and it leaves you both leaving feeling bitter and feeling that, regret that it didn't work out. But in reality, it was because of your own faults. But God's gracious in that way. He will not just throw that type of a woman into your life until you are ready, or he will make you ready as it goes through. But if you ignore that, if you ignore those feelings, you ignore those inklings, you're never going to be ready, right? You're never going to be ready. If you get into a relationship with a godly woman, or you're close, or you're even in one right now watching this video, you might not be ready yet. You might still be the type of person that lusts. Well, you got to get ready quick, man, because if you lose this woman, it's going to be detrimental. You won't be able to find another one. Because, as it says, a woman that fears the Lord is worth more than rubies. I think that's what it says. It's worth more in gold and diamonds, and the precious metals, precious gemstones and minerals is nothing in comparison to a woman who fears the Lord. And the greatest happiness you can find in your life is to be with a woman that is a godly woman, that fears God. That you both, if you both are godly, you're a godly man, and you actually, are good to her and she's good to you. It's a truly amazing relationship, and it is the best relationship that you can ever be in. Best romantic relationship you can be in. Godly man, godly woman. Because if God is the center of your relationship, it makes everything else so much easier, so much better, and all difficulties become so much easier to overcome. And the relationship's truly beautiful, and you both live your life happy, which is what we're trying to go for and aim at, living as happily as we can. The last thing you want is to be with a woman that doesn't actually make you happy. And the last thing that she wants is to be with a man that doesn't make her happy. So, with that in mind, what are you going to do? Right? What are your next steps? Are you going to continue to watch porn? Are you going to continue to jerk off, be that type of a guy? Are you going to continue to try and justify those feelings? Are you going to continue to be angry and lash out at people? Or are you going to actually start making those changes in yourself, so that when that woman who is a high quality woman comes along, you're ready for her and you're ready to be a good man to her? That's your decision. That's your choice. It's a thing you make each and every day. It's a decision you make every day to better yourself each and every day. I speak this saying that I'm not in that position. Me personally, I have a lot of work to do. I'm not there yet. I talk and I think what I'm saying is true. I think what I'm saying makes sense, but I'm not there yet. So you need to take what you need to take and do better. I also have to do the same. I'm kind of saying this also to myself. Like, I'm going to watch this video back. I'm going to watch this podcast back for myself, because I know that I am not at that level of godliness that I am preaching today, that you need to be to have that godly woman. And me personally, I really do want a godly woman in my life. So I have to improve too. But that's where we're here. That's what we're here to do. So that's what you're here to watch this video, to learn how to do, to improve, to be better, and to actually be the type of man that attracts those type of women. And that will help you do better in your life and be happier each and every day. So if that's one of your greatest desires, it personally is one of my greatest desires, that's all I say. Let's go improve together. Let's go be less lustful, more loving, less angry, less prideful, less lazy, and let's do what we need to do to be that type of man that, eventually, when the time is right, we will find that woman that truly makes us happy, that truly fills us up, and we will be able to keep her, and we will be able to make her happy as well, because we are the type of men that she would want us to be. So whichever woman is out there is a woman out there for each and every one of you, as I believe there is for me. Whoever it is, don't lose her, right? Whoever it is, don't lose her. Start now. Start while you're single. Start while you have the chance to better yourself right now, so that if and when she comes along, you'll know, and you'll know that it's a great moment to keep her. And it's a great moment to be a better person every day, to truly strive to be a godly man. And being a godly man is just great, not just for the woman, but the woman is, our greatest desires, of course. But it's great just to be a better person every day and to just live a happier life. Again, as I say, the Bible is an instruction of how to live a good life. If you follow the teachings of the Bible, you will just live a better life. And that proves that points and proves to the truth of it all, right? But just continue grinding, continue growing each and every day, and fight those emotions. Fight those emotions, man. This is for me as well. And when I watch this back, use that fire, use that energy, fight those emotions, always put God first each and every day, especially in the moment of temptation. And the more you do that, the better you become, the more godly of a man you will become. And, the more of a chance you have to actually attract that godly woman, that beautiful woman that you so desire in your life.